Sellout crowd on hand at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia for the Subway 500. 5 races down, 5 races to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup, and the championship leader entering the day, Kurt Busch, is having a fine afternoon so far. He's out front. Our Wendy's race menu.
Next week, Atlanta. We will not be pushing and shoving and gouging. We'll be side by side all over the racetrack on a 1.5-mile facility. That's a great race. And then to the 1-mile racetrack in Phoenix. You get to race out there, don't you?
Yeah, get to race the Busch car out there, and that's one of my favorites.
And we wrap up the chase for the Nextel Cup in Darlington, South Carolina, and Homestead Miami Speedway in Florida. All great races coming up. A lot of pressure by the leader, Kurt Busch, to put Joe Nemechek a lap down. Joe wasn't quite this close to the leader a couple laps ago, but he and somebody else kind of got into it a little bit.
And that someone would be 31 car.
RG. Slides up. Boom!
Little contact. That's once, but there's going to be
probably some more.
You see the rotor on that 31 car just cherry red.
Yeah, your car doesn't. Normally here at Martinsville, it's a physical racetrack to drive. You are very busy inside the race car. You're standing on the gas. You're turning. You're saving the car, like Robbie just did.
Yeah.
Robbie's car is not working very well, and you really struggle around this place. And when your car's not working good, you use a lot of brakes, and you use a lot of brakes. Those rotors get red hot. You watch the left leg. Yeah. Stands on the brakes.
Stands hard on that brake.
Got a little tire rub there. You can see Robbie is just awful right now.
And the leader, Kurt Busch, is right behind him, and he looks in the mirror and sees him. So I got to try to stand for this 97 car in case there's a caution flag. I get to make up a lap.
Now and he's got that tire rub pretty hard right there, but yeah, he's trying to stay on the lead lap, but I don't think it's going to happen. When you're turning the wheel to the right as much to the left, you're probably going to get passed.
It's not a good sign?
No.
And then, is that a little nip there from Kurt?
Yeah, going to get a little bit impatient when you're and you see Robbie's pumping the brake.
That's right.
And there's the rotor, and that's ugly, BP.
Just cherry red. That's probably 1,400 degrees. Watch when he goes the corner and really slams on the brakes, just how red the rotor turns.
That's a lot of heat coming off that rotor.
And you've got to be concerned about that tire because, the tire is right there next to all that heat, and sometimes we've seen situations where it melted the bead on the tire and go flat.
And a lot of these cars have hoses not only to the brakes, but they have a hose pointed to the inside of the tire to help keep that bead cooled down a little bit.
Let's go inside our Home Depot garage and show you how they try to cool these brakes. We have air ducts that go through the grill of the car, through the bumper, and run back to the calipers and rotors. Because as we said, when the driver applies the brakes and just heats that rotor up, sometimes 13, 14, or even 1,500 degrees, there we see the air coming through to cool them down because the fluid inside, the rotors can stand that kind of temperature, but the fluid inside can't stand it. It will start to boil, and when it does, you get air in the system, you lose your brakes.
Yeah, and that's why Robbie is pumping his brake. He's pumping the pedal to get the air out to make sure that pedal is firm, so when he gets to the corner and he applies the brakes, they're there. Because if you got to make that extra pump when you get into the corner, you're on the wall.
It's a safety shot.
Yeah.
Here's a race for position. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s fallen back some over these last 10-12 laps. BP to 10th spot. Now Mark Martin's working on him.
Yes, he's struggling. Oh, we see Junior come up, and here comes Mark.
Does he have enough? Yep.
Caution, turn 2. Kyle Petty going into the spin cycle.
And the leader is right behind. Looks like that Kyle will get his car going before Kurt Busch, the 97 car, laps him.
4 knocked 06 into you there.
So yellow flag number 7.
Get busy putting tires on now.
And let me tell you something. These cars, I think, needed this caution flag because it looked to me like a lot of these cars were really sliding around, that the tires were about worn out.
It's about 71 laps since they went back racing.
And some of these guys yesterday talking about only being able to run 75, 80 laps on the left side. Now, we expect the tire wear to get better, but we'll have to check with our guys in the pits and see.
Yeah, he got tagged. Kyle got tagged by Wobble.
I heard the spotter say that it looked like the 24 got in the back of the 6 and knocked him into the 45.
And here come the leaders to the pit road opening, and on they charge. Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart, Sterling Marlin now going to come in with the leaders this time.
Oh,
Jimmy
so
Johnson in too.
Not doing the opposite then, is he?
Bill?
And they coach Jimmy Johnson on how to get into your stall. He's got a very tricky pit stall here on the front stretch. Car is just a little bit tight. He's got great forward grip, a small chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel day.
Tony Stewart said, guys, let's get the car rolling through the center of the corner a little bit better. That'll mean an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and fuel. Matt?
Left side tires going on. No changes for Kurt Busch, the leader. He says, I'm all set. Marty?
Matt, this is the break actually the 40 team was looking for. They were going to have to pit in about 30 laps under green flag conditions. Car is too tight for Sterling. Half pound to the right front, pound in the right rear. Bill? 24 of Jeff Gordon fell off the jack. They had to basically lift the car up, get the jack back underneath it, then do the left side tires. Extremely long pit stop.
Boy, it rains, it pours. I've heard that before.
That's going to put Jeff Gordon back almost to the end of the lead lap. Just about everybody's off pit road already.
Jeff, where are you? Jeff? Did he stop? There he is.
We had time to play the final Jeopardy music before he came around the corner. Troubles for Robbie Loomis and company at Martinsville.
Second up. Right there, come on, baby.
Little short track action on a Sunday afternoon for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The caution flag out in Martinsville, and you can see some of the reasons why already today.
A brand new surface here and a very, very tight group. Junior's struggling right now, Marty.
Well, VP, it's been an interesting last 20 minutes for Dale Earnhardt Jr. The radio discussion continues, but for the last, I'd say probably 30 laps that run, he had no spotter. His spotter, Steve Meal, both radios went out. Most of these spotters have a primary and a backup radio, but when he keyed the mic, it sounded like there was heavy wind blowing into the microphone, and no one could hear what he's saying. So then they didn't know what to do, so they sent Jay Guarneri, one of the crew members, to the hauler. They got a radio and ran to turn 4, trying to spot for Junior as best he could, called him to pit road, and then now they're running up radios to Steve Meal. Now they can't find out what channel Junior's on, but he said, I can't stand channel 2, I'm switching to the primary channel, and they can't get him to answer on either one. So very confusing situation for the 8 team, but they're getting it worked out.
Yeah, well, he's talking to somebody, so they must have found a channel.
The shock's not a problem.
How'd he talk to himself?
I mean, it's a big deal.
He don't know it.
Well, if he's talking to himself, it's one thing. If he starts answering himself, then I'm going to be concerned.
There's Steve Meal, the spotter.
Running back and forth around the spotter stand, trying to get things worked out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to line up 10th for this restart. Marty, they get it squared away?
Yeah, they found him on the primary channel. He said, I was talking, no one was listening to me. He switched over, and I guess the crew didn't get the message until just now. Now they're communicating about what the car was doing on the last run.
Like I said, he's talking to himself.
I can't believe you let that go, Wally.
What's that?
Could have thrown that right back at Marty. I was talking and nobody was listening to me.
I wasn't listening to Marty.
Oh, okay. Under caution at Martinsville. Cleanup continues.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By the Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for. By UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. And by the United States Army, an army of one.
Closing in on the 200-lap mark of the Subway 500 here in Martinsville, Virginia. They've taken some time and extended this caution to clean up some of the excess rubber and marbles from this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson moving very well in this midsection of the race, Bill.
Doing well under green, but not under caution. 255. You know what that is, Benny?
Water temperature.
Yeah, not very happy. Extremely warm right now. Crew Chief Chad Knaus has asked NASCAR to pick up the speed on the pace car to try and generate more air in there to cool off the water temperature. Marty.
And Tony Eury Jr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finally recommunicating here, and that was kind of a crazy 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, things are just not going the way we needed today. We're kind of pushing real bad. We tightened the car up this morning and kind of overdone it looks like. But yeah, radio communications went out there for a minute, but now we got Steve a new radio up there, so hopefully things will turn around.
All right, we do want to confirm that Steve Milne now does have a radio and has just talked to Dale Jr. Everybody's happy now.
All right.
And, you know, we talk about the 48 car. Bill mentioned overheating on the 48. A lot of these guys use mechanical fans, not the electric fans. 48 has an electric fan, so they have trouble pulling all that air through at these slow speeds.
NBC Monday, live from Las Vegas, the Radio Music Awards. All the biggest stars on a night where anything can happen. Monday at 9, 8 Central, the Radio Music Awards on NBC. Still cleaning up here at Martinsville. Let's take a break. We'll come back for the restart. Kurt Busch is the leader. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.